have said, let's pull back the curtain. Let's talk about all the marketing techniques. We'll try to get as much detail. I will say this to everybody, folks. What we're going to do is share with you what we teach in class. But what we can't do today is teach you on every subject, right, Patrick? I mean, that would take an entire week to do that.
Yeah, we're kind of condensing this down, folks. Remember, in the class during the week, we take a full day, basically 8 hours, to cover the marketing. So we're we're just going to give you the highlights of it today to give you a hint that we, after 24 years, know what we're doing.
Yeah, you bet. All right, so let's get this started. We're going to talk about these major topics, and each of these topics that we're going to talk about, these 5 marketing secrets for doctors, each of these are going to have like subcategories. So the first thing is, Patrick, we got to get an appointment to see the doctor. I mean, there's just no doubt we've got to get into the doctor.
Yeah, that's the first step, is how do you do that? And that's the big question that most people ask. I know when you talk to them, Eric, and I talk to prospective licensees, they're always asking, well, how is it that you guys have figured out how to actually get knee to knee, right in front of a doctor to talk to them? Well, folks, we have figured that out, and it's not something that you would just intuitively know how to do, believe me. So we've, again, tweaked this over the years. We've tried things. We've thrown out more things than we have. We cover, what would you say, Eric? There's about 8 or 10 different ways that we're going to talk to people today about getting to the doctor, and getting that appointment is the first and hardest part.
And then once we got you into the doctor, you're going to see this progression of these different things. Now, when we go through these things today, where it says like offer practice analysis, pick up on these topics, because obviously the rest of these that we're going to show you can all lead to getting back to the first thing, which is get an appointment. So remember that you're going to be offering a practice analysis. You'll be able to offer a live demo. People obviously want to know pricing and proposals, and then implementation of how to get this all done in the practice. So each one of these can, Patrick, I think all of these major categories can all lead back up to the appointment.
Yes, exactly. And this may seem a little overwhelming at first for us just to throw all these things up there, but guys, you'll see as we go through the webinar that it'll kind of clear, the light bulb will go off.
Yeah, and so be patient with us, because there is a lot of information we're going to try to get to this afternoon. We're going to be monitoring your questions as they come in, obviously, as best we can. If we can't get to all of them today, we're going to have those answered for you. So if we don't get to your specific question today, just know that they're recorded. We're going to get those out to the individual that you've been working with here at ADS. Patrick, let's start this first one here. Let's kick this thing off. Let's get an appointment. I mean, let's just jump right in here. So Patrick, you want to kind of talk about these subtitles that we're going to be talking about here?
Yeah, so what we've come up with, as I said earlier, here's 8 different ways. We've actually got a few more that we're just not able to squeeze into this hour today, but we're going to talk to you about the 8 specific ways that you can go out and connect with doctors. That's what this is all about, getting an appointment with a doctor, or sometimes the office manager. They can be your best friend, the office manager, by the way, and so we're going to show you how to make that appointment with them and or the doctor, and we do it by using these methods that we're going to cover today.
Yeah, let's kick off with the first one. Let's connect with the community. So what do we do here, Patrick, with what we're seeing here? This is just, again, this is just a sampling of it, too.
Yeah, and we're just taking a little snapshot of what we cover in the class. But, folks, what you're looking at here is, as you can see on the left side there, that's an actual printed flip chart for people who want to carry something with them everywhere and be able to talk to people about it. And then on the right, we've got it digitally, of course, so that it can also be shown on an iPad. And so what we're illustrating here is connecting with the community. Now, in this case, we're talking about making some little presentation to your warm market, that is, the people that you know. Now, we'll go into detail as to why that's important that you connect with them. Remember, you're not necessarily, maybe you don't know any doctors, so you're not necessarily connecting with doctors through this method. What you're doing is connecting with the community. That includes your own people that you know, relatives, friends, people that are in business with you, that you work with, etc. And what you're doing is just asking them their opinion as to what they think about the presentation that you are going to be making to a doctor. Now, as you go through this, of course, if that person knows a doctor, it's a natural thing for them to say, hey, you know what, my doctor needs your help, so I can give you their name. So it's a great way to connect with them. And when we talk about doing more outreach beyond your warm market to the business community through networking, like chambers of commerce meetings and things like that, you'll also have something that you can present to those people one-on-one to see if they can connect you with doctors as well. So it's just a beautiful system that we've worked out. We start with this because connecting with people in your community is very, very important. That's probably where most people get their first doctor, when you say, Eric, through a referral of some sort.
Yeah, and we've said this in time past. Part of the business package that you get with us, you're actually getting a website. But Patrick, a lot of people think just because I've hanged my shingle out there on the interwebs, as they would say, they think they're in business and they're going to be flooded with people to start asking them. The doctors are going to be going, oh my goodness, at nighttime they're trying to find a medical biller.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that way. I wish it did. No. And we know that they're just not doctors that have that they're just signing up on the internet saying, hey, help me, I'm needing a medical biller. They need medical billers. They're asking people in the community, do you know anybody that could help me with my revenue cycle solutions, as you can see here?
Yeah, whether they're doing it in-house with their own staff using their own computer software, or they've already decided to outsource it. Many, many doctors are not happy with their current billing situation for one reason or another. And so you want to be able to tell them that you have some things that can change the way their revenue comes in and increase their revenue, sometimes up to 30–40%. That will get their attention.
Yeah. Patrick, I mean, this is a group of people here that you've put up here, and so this is still connecting with the community. What are we doing here? Yeah,
in this case, we're looking at professionals. In other words, you want to connect with folks who might be doing business with doctors themselves, CPAs, bankers, mortgage lenders, all sorts of people in your community that already know doctors and maybe even looking at doing business with doctors themselves. So by connecting with those partners, we call them referral partners, you'll find that you can get a client very easily through other people because it's an introduction. It's not a cold call of some kind. It's a warm introduction by somebody who already knows a doctor.
This goes right along with what I'm doing tomorrow. Patrick, I'm actually doing a demonstration of our system, our iClaim system, for a licensee down here in Texas. And it's doing the demonstration for someone just like what you talked about right here. It's their referral partner they're connected with the doctors already in their city.
Yeah, now remember, in the class, of course, we go into detail as to who these people are, how to find them, what to say when you introduce yourself to them, how to connect with them so that they want to give you a referral to a doctor. There's many, many little tips and tricks that we've learned over the years. And since Cynthia, our instructor, our lead instructor right now, is one of our licensees. She's been in business for 8 years doing this. She has honed this down, Eric, and I'm telling you, if people did nothing but this right here, they will get a doctor. They're out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, if you're making a list right now, think about it. Bankers, CPAs, people in your community, your chamber of commerce, I guess, Patrick, even with other business networking groups.
Sure. There's dozens of them right here in the DFW area where we live, of course. I checked one time. There's 37 different business networking groups that meet, weekly. So you've got a lot of different places that you can go and connect with these other people. And believe me, they're there to do business. They want to do business. They want to meet you. They're hoping that maybe you can introduce them to some business people. And it's just a wonderful way to connect with the community. Now, we've also got some secrets we're not going to talk about today as to how to connect with the medical community, too. Be right there smack dab in the middle of the doctors. And Eric has done some research and development on that and knows that you can connect. You were sitting right there in one big meeting with 300 doctors and their wives, you and your wife Karen, and man, it's a great way to get right in the middle of them.
You bet. One little tidbit here. This is a little kind of a secret sauce type thing. Folks, think about it. When you're going, if you're getting your funding through a bank right now, and you're sitting there with the bank president or whoever, the loan officer or whatever, or you're setting up your bank account, be thinking that, hey, they're going to say, well, what kind of business are you in? Well,
Right.
you're going to say, I'm in this part of revenue management, of medical revenue management. Medical revenue management, what is that? Well, I'm actually helping doctors collect more money. And
Yeah, in fact, that was a question here from Paul. He says, is it possible to do a demo to someone in the bank, a
yes,
banker that you know? Because maybe they've asked to find out how the system works, and they want to be able to feel good about referring you to a doctor that's a client of theirs. Yes, absolutely. We'll do that for anybody. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that live demo a little bit later. So you guys who are wondering, if you're on here the first time, we do the live demo of our system for your prospective clients.
yeah. And Ashok's asking the question: what material do you send to these community forums in attempt to connect with them? Well, there's nothing better than just meeting them. I would say that's probably the best way to do it. It's like, would you do business with a stranger if you've never introduced yourself to anybody? I mean, to everybody, you're just a stranger. Wouldn't you agree with that, Patrick? I mean,
Yes.
got to get past the stranger mode in your community.
Yes, there are people out there who, again, are seeking to do business with doctors themselves, or maybe they already do. And those are the kinds of people you're connecting with when you go to these groups and meet with them. Or when you explain to your own warm market, the people that you know what you're doing, some of them will go, oh, you know what, I've got a cousin who's a podiatrist, and he might could use some of your services. Well, there's your referral to that person as well.
Yep. All right, so we've dealt with that one. Hopefully we dealt with it as best we can, because again, folks, we can't teach this, in an hour. Classified ads. What in the world are you talking about here, Patrick? What do you mean classified ads?
People go, wait a minute, classified ads. There's no newspapers left that have classified ads. So, folks, this is a very proprietary way, a secret we've come up with, and Eric, we got this from one of our licensees, by the way, who actually used this method. I'm not going to tell you exactly where you're going to see these classified ads or what you're actually, I'll just say this, you are not placing the classified ads, you're responding to them. So if that gives you kind of a hint there, and so you're going to actually go in, just like you see this fellow here talking to the person at the front desk, you're going to go into that office with an invitation to come in because they want to talk to you. You'll see that this secret has worked for many, many licensees to get their first client.
You bet. And these are maybe doctors might looking for somebody in that field?
Yeah, maybe they've told the world that they need help with their billing, and you're going to be the person who walks in and says, hey, you know what? I can solve that for you.
I love what Lisa's asking. I mean, Lisa's and Paul's, their wheels are turning here. I can see it. She goes, okay, say the banker says, okay, I'll take a look. How do we go about getting a time set up to demo? We are actually going to show you that here in a moment. So everybody just hang on. But the classified ads was a great way, and many people have gotten in front of the doctors, their staff, work that angle, and so what a great opportunity. What about building credibility here? I mean, we've kind of talked about this one in detail in the past.
Yeah, now folks, it's very important that you realize that everybody wants to work with experts, right? Just looked for a new car recently for my wife. I've walked in a couple of dealerships that, I mean, immediately you just want to walk out and run, right? Even though you'd like to see the car because of the way that the salesperson is presenting themselves. Literally, some of them don't know a thing about what their product they're selling. So one of the things we're doing is positioning you as the expert in your community. One of the ways we do that is with our book that you see here on the screen, The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, you can't see it on this slide, but if the next slide, I think we zoom in on this, Eric, where they can see the very bottom of the book there. Look carefully down here. I know that's kind of hard to read if you're looking at this on an iPad, but it says Forward by Susan Smith, CMRM. Now, remember, when you finish our training, we're going to certify you as a certified medical revenue manager. So this person, Susan Smith, could be you. That's your name there on the front of this book. Now imagine the credibility that you have with any prospective doctor or office manager with your name on the front of the book with a doctor and me. They can read the back of the book and find out more about it. You can give these books away, folks. They sell for $24.95 on Amazon. Our printing cost on this, Eric, is about $4. And we can do that by putting the person's name on the front cover of the book. We also put it on the title page. When they open the book, you're right there too as having written the foreword. And then you're at the end of the foreword as well. I think the next slide shows that. So this is really important, folks, to build the credibility, because now you are partnered with a doctor. And you'll see when you come to the workshop that we have Dr. Vicki Ratner appear there, speak to you, and tell you that you are now partnered with her. And it's a wonderful, and as you can see, we've already written the foreword. It's not anything that you have to write, but we'll put your contact information right down there in the bottom of that foreword. So you've got your name and contact information printed inside the book that you're giving away as a gift to the doctor. We'll show you how to get it into the hands of the doctor, and they are blown away by this, Eric. This one was a winner when we came up with this, because this was what, just last year. They are going nuts, and licensees are loving this.
Yeah, and you bet. I mean, this wasn't an actual service that we added to our suite of services, but this is one of those reasons, and for the opportunity that we actually went up on our price last year, is because we actually have this inside of our now accessible for our licensees. And what an incredible investment that people are getting out of this part of having this as part of their marketing techniques, so to say.
Yeah, you know, if I were starting a business like this and needed some credibility, to have this one tool right here, Eric, this one tool is worth the $26,000. I can guarantee you that you could not find a doctor, have them write a book, let you write the foreword and put your name in there. It would cost you thousands of dollars to make that kind of connection. We've done that for you, and our licensees are getting calls. They leave this book with doctors. We'll show you how you can mark it up, highlight some passages, and put some little sticky notes on there, so that the doctor, when he flips through there and sees those, they will call you and say, I need help. And that's happening every day. Now, there's another book that Dr. Vicki Ratner's written that I thought I would show you here, because you can also use this one as a marketing tool as well. And as you can see, there's a quote here that I wanted to put up here on the screen so that you could actually see what she says in the book. I think this is page 83 in the book. She says, physicians in private practice walk away from an average of 30% of their income. Outsourcing your medical billing could bring claim rejection rates to as low as 2 to 5%. And Eric, as you know, ours is less than 2%. Right. This may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow, says Dr. Ratner. Now, folks, doctors love to hear and read what their peers say. And when they hear from a doctor that they could increase their revenue by 30%, that causes them to say, I need to talk to whoever it is that gave me this book. You can have this book personalized as well. So it's another wonderful tool. The reason she wrote it, Eric, is because most doctors are not as rich as they thought they were going to be. They don't make as near the income that they thought they would. And so this one is so dynamic and so in demand. She's actually flying all over the country, Dr. Ratner, and speaking to groups of doctors because of this book. So it's a great giveaway too.
So folks, think about this. We kind of ended with this one, but think if you led in with this book, just the myth of the rich doctor, and it just had Vicki Ratner's name on it. So you've established a third-party credibility, and then maybe a month later you kind of come back with this book here, and now there's an association with Dr. Ratner and then you. And so it doesn't, think about the creativeness that you can have by utilizing portions of everything that we've led up to right now. Because remember, the title of what we're talking about here is Get an Appointment. And what a great way to lead in with a book from a doctor, and then you know, another month or so down the line, you end up with you know, the new thriving medical practice at their doorstep. I mean, folks, I mean, it really, folks, you got to understand, it takes a little bit of effort to go out there and go do what you got to go do.
Yeah, and with this tool, folks, you are establishing great credibility. Okay, we better move on, Eric.
Oh man, I can see the time already. Yeah. All right, get prospects to come to you. I mean, if people who would love to, folks, you're seeing our booth, our trade show booth, that you get to rent free. You just ask for it, and then you pay for the shipping both ways. I mean, what better thing could you have?
Yeah, Eric, that booth has lights on the top of it, and so it's about $4,000 to have one of those produced. We just basically lend out this to any licensee who wants to. And folks, we'll show you how to find those meetings and conventions and things in your area that are being held for doctors. They're in every city almost every month. There's 2 or 3 of them. And this is a great way to have the prospects actually come to you. They're there to find out more about, different things about the medical field. And here's your booth saying that you can, solve their cash flow problems. It draws them like a magnet. You can see there in the picture on the right, some of our licensees actually talking to some doctors there.
Yes, absolutely.
Doesn't get any better than
build
this.
your list. Yes, build your list. Okay, let's talk about this, because this is actively getting out there now.
Yeah, because people ask us all the time, well, do I have to do any cold calling? Oh, horrors, no. We do not believe in cold calling, but there is some warm calling that you could do. We'll show you how to build your list that you're going to market to through some automated marketing we'll show you here in a moment. And you build that list by gathering the business cards from offices. So think in your area, there's probably a medical building somewhere that has doctors from the top to the bottom. Mm-hmm. You can simply go to each one of those offices, grab their business card, maybe leave a brochure or a copy of the book for the doctor, and walk out with that card. Now you have their contact information to put in your database and do some automated marketing that we're going to talk about a little bit later. It's a wonderful way. You don't have to say a thing to anybody in the office. You just walk in and grab that business card and walk out if you want to. But Eric, this actually works, because what happens is, even the people say, oh, I'm scared to do that. What happens is sometimes the person in the front office, when you hand them something, will go, oh, you know what? The doctor might be interested in this. And you can set up with them what's called a lunch and learn, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, right there on the spot. They hold those all the time because, hey, they got to eat, right? And so you've got 30 minutes to sit there and talk with them and the staff about what you can do for them. It's a great way to market.
Even when you're doing that and you're just saying, hey, can I get the business card of the doctor or whoever, and oh, by the way, I mean, do you guys ever have allow people to bring you lunch? I mean, that small question right there.
Yeah.
Listen, those folks that work for the doctor would love sometimes a lunch, and if it's all you're doing is building relationships to kind of get to know, and you're bringing that in there, and you're kind of sponsoring their lunch, you'll be surprised how many doctors actually allow folks like yourself to go out there and bring a lunch in. And you do that once a month or so, and you keep building that, people knowing you in the community there. That's the big part of what we're talking about there.
You bet. Okay.
All right. Get an appointment. All right. So again, we're still right here with all these different services, Patrick.
Yeah. Now, we don't go into detail like we should, Eric. We probably ought to do a webinar just on these ancillary services. Folks, these are services that we've come up with over the years, most of them from licensees who came to us and say, hey, the doctor asked about this or that. So we found technology partners that can help us offer services to the doctors. The great thing is, Eric, that sometimes a doctor thinks that their billing, is under control. Maybe it's not, but they don't know that. But they might be interested in talking to you about one of these many services that you see here. Now, you can read about these on our website, but folks, every one of these are what we call a door opener. That means it gets you in the door, it gets you past the glass, and right in there with them talking about one of these services. Once you're in there, of course, now you're on the inside. You're not an outsider, you're an insider. And you've gotten to know them, and it's a great way to build on, showing them your what you can do in the billing area as well.
You bet. Patrick, we've talked about so many. We do have some folks that just still want to build their business in medical billing, maybe just a little bit unsure about themselves. They can always utilize sales reps.
That's right. You know what, Eric? When we came up with this program, it was amazing how that some licensees who had not done much just instantly said, you know what, I can find somebody that's currently calling on doctors. There's sales reps out there, guy, selling everything you can imagine to doctors. While they're there, they can also leave a brochure of your business. And the way we do it is we teach you how to find these people, how to pay them on commission only. You don't have to pay them a salary or anything. And when they sign up a client for you, all of a sudden they're paid an upfront fee that the doctor pays. And you can even offer them an ongoing residual income on the billing each month. Sales reps fall in love with this area because they're all about the money, right? That's why they got into sales.
You bet. They're always looking for another stream of income. And even if you run into some folks that says, you know what, that'll violate my contract with my employer or anything. Again, they could be the one that connects you. They're the ones that you could say, look, I don't guess you would mind at least making an introduction. And how about if I just pay you on the side as a referral? You know, just a referral part of it. That alone sometimes is all you might need.
So we have all the training. We'll show you how to, again, find these people and interview them and the questions you should ask them. And then we've got all the contracts worked out between you and them as well. So again, folks, this is a dynamic way to build any business, actually, if you know what you're doing. And there's secrets that we give about hiring these people that will get people. You can have as many people as you want to out there. Eric, we actually literally have licensees who have not done any marketing themselves, and they've built a nationwide business through reps all over the country.
Right.
Since there's no restrictions, no territory, you can build this business as big as you want using these sales reps.
And folks, if you just see here, Patrick, everything that we've gone through so far, you know, this is covered over a 3-day period that it goes into that training class that we have. So you can see we're still in how to get an appointment, and we got, I think, one more, if not 2 more.
Yeah, educational events. Now, folks, think about it this way. We mentioned earlier that the doctor's offices love to have lunch brought into them. They call them lunch and learns. So again, you have a half-hour period there or so to go in and explain what you do. You spend $50, $60 on, you know, some sandwiches for and you're doing it right there with that small group of staff of the doctor. And the doctor themselves will set in on these things too if you've got, you know, enough interest. We have a way of showing you how to get these things set up. We also have all of the presentations in slide format already set up. Now on the right, you see somebody there actually doing a more formal presentation in front of a group of doctors. We'll show you how to set those meetings up with doctors inside of hospitals and make your presentation there and have a whole group of doctors. Eric, you remember we had a licensee up in gosh, I forget where he was, up in the Northeast, and he had his very first lunch and learn, 35 people. One person drove an hour and a half to get there. Yeah. So these work, and again, we've got all the details worked out for these things as well.
Yeah, and they're a lot of fun because it gives you a lot of momentum of what you're trying to do. It's getting you activated into the community, getting you activated on some other things, and so it's a great opportunity for you, and keep building that out. Patrick, one more, I think, that we got, automate your marketing. I mean, let's talk about this one.
Yeah. Now, folks, I don't even know how to explain this, but the postcards and greeting cards that you see here illustrated, we've designed, professionally designed. They have copy, of course, on the back of them as well. And these can be actually mailed out to doctors. But it gets even better than that. We've automated this for you. We have an online, completely cloud-based system that you can actually put a doctor's name and address in from anywhere, even on your cell phone, push a button, and this card gets printed and stamped and addressed and sent in the mail to the doctor, or the office manager sees it, of course, as well. It's a wonderful way to keep your name in front of the doctor. We call it follow-up marketing, but it's automated in that you don't even have to think about it. So think about this. You might go to one of those buildings I talked about earlier and gather up a dozen business cards and send maybe a postcard to each one of those people. But how do you know when to send the next card? You can't keep up with that, see, on a day-to-day basis. Human beings can't keep up with that, but technology can.
Sure it can. Yeah. Patrick, I mean, we've gone at least 35 minutes, and just on that one first topic that we were talking about, how to get an appointment. So hopefully we can grab the rest of this. And again, folks, if we don't get to your question, doesn't mean we don't want to answer it. Just means that we're going to run out of time here. So let's step to the second one. Let's talk about offering a practice analysis, because talking about this practice analysis with all the different people that you may have come in contact with on how to get an appointment, this may be one of those topics that you're talking about, is offering a practice analysis. Let's talk about what this is all about.
Yeah, now, folks, think about it this way. The doctor has some interest. Maybe he's read the book that you gave to him or some of the brochures that you left, and they say, you know what, we're not sure. Maybe we do need to kind of look at what you've got and see where we stand as a practice, because they've heard from Dr. Ratner that they could be losing up to 30% of their income, and that their rejection rate can be as low as 2%, and their rejection rate probably is more like the national average, which is about 34%. So they invite you in to do a free practice analysis. Now, we've already worked it out, of course. It's, as you can see, it's several questions that you ask the practice, like these that Eric's putting on the screen here. Is your current system server-based or web-based? You know, how many claims do you do for a month, in a month's time? What are you currently spending on your billing, etc.? We've got about 40 questions on that that you ask them, and then you just leave. Yeah, right. I mean, you're not there to sell them anything at that point. You're just doing the practice analysis. But when you come back to the office, of course, you're going to prepare the pricing. We'll work with you on that, of course, from our experience, and help you prepare what's called a proposal, showing them exactly what services you want to offer them and how much.
Yeah. And then once you get through with that practice analysis, now you're going to pull that all together and then talking about setting up a demonstration. And what's a beauty about how we do a demonstration here at ABS is not necessarily to where we're trying to show the doctor new pieces of software. We're really taking what you pulled out of that practice analysis, because that's given to the person that's doing the demonstration. Patrick, yeah. I mean, when our folks that do our demos for us, and they've got that information in front of them, when they do this demonstration, it no longer becomes about software sales.
Yeah, because you're not selling anything to the doctor. What you're doing is showing them the latest technology. They're always interested in that. And Eric, you do some of these demos, I know, for some of our licensees, and
yes,
gosh, the doctors are just blown away when they see the live presentation. On the left, as you can see there, folks, is one of our staff members. So we'll show you here that you have an online form that you fill out to set up the demo, and then we do that for you. We answer all the questions during that live demo. You can be on your computer, as the couple is there in the bottom right, watching what's going on their iPad, and then above that you see the doctor in their office actually watching it. Sometimes you'll go to the doctor's office and sit there with them and kind of, you know, be able to answer some questions at the end there. They're mainly asking, how do I get started, aren't they, Eric?
Yes, absolutely.
About 50% of all the doctors who see this demo, folks, want to move forward with you. So it's a wonderful way. We don't charge a thing for that. That's a part of your licensing fee. We'll do those demos and have been doing them for years.
Yes, absolutely. And now this kind of gets to the question from Lisa, but before we do that, as Patrick said, you know, you could be at maybe your office, and folks, obviously, if you're dealing with a doctor that's out of state, you may or may not be able to go there. But remember, if you're involved in your community and you've got one of those, we're setting up a demo with you for one of your local doctors, you know, there is nothing better than you to be right there with them and you watch their responses. You'll know as you're watching how quickly you're going to see those doctors go, all right, let's do something.
Yeah, yeah. You'll hear them in the background talking to one another, you know, going, wow, did you see that? I didn't know you could do that. It's just amazing when you have leading, bleeding edge technology like we have, Eric, how they're just blown away because they're using some old server-based software, you know. Remember CDs? You know, you actually put them in a tray and install the software. That's what they're doing in doctors' offices, and then having to download any kind of updates and keep up with all the codes. All of that's taken care of in our cloud-based system, folks. And it's just a marvelous system. Wait till you see, and folks, if you want to see one of these demos, they can ask to see one of these themselves, can't they, Eric?
Yes, absolutely, and they should. You should be able to look for that. Now, Lisa, you were asking earlier, how do we go about setting this up? So once you become a licensee, you're going to gain direct access to what's called our licensee support site. Obviously, we don't have time to go dive into the whole website there just on that part of it. But you can see, you'd be able to go straight to here, go to where it says iClaim, you click there, and then you can see, I mean, actually, this is just a screenshot. It would just go to another web page there, and then you put your information in there just like this, and you're going to put in the practice name, who the contact information is. There's some more stuff that's below all of this because it's a scroll-up type screen there, but it's going to say, you know, what specific times of the week would work for it. It might be 1, 2, or 3 options there of when you could need to get this done. And then we communicate back with you and saying we can do it at that time. Then you're going to get the information emailed to you, in which you can now email that over to your doctor. And then we just say, if you're going to have a demo, live demo done at like 1 o'clock Central, get there a little bit sooner, because you're going to need to make sure everything gets set up, because our demonstrators, when they say if you're going to start at 1 o'clock, they have 1 hour to go from 1 to 2. So if you get there at 1 and you're trying to get everything set up, you've already eaten into your time. So get there a little earlier, get everything set up, be prepared, and it will go off very, very, very smoothly.
Yeah, again, we're about half of all the doctors who see these actually move forward with the licensees, so they're signing up doctors left and right. We're going to show you a picture of what you would see and what the doctor would see there of the iClaim system. As you can see, it is a very clean, very user-friendly interface. We actually are online with the doctor using GoToMeeting or something similar to this technology we're using here today to show the doctor step-by-step live right over the internet our cloud-based system. We're filling in the blanks, we're pushing buttons, we're taking them step by step through the thing. And then, of course, there's the electronic medical record system you see here, EMRX we call it. This one actually is exciting because they can actually use this on their iPad. So doctors can actually use our system to put in the data when they're interfacing with a patient right on their iPad. They absolutely love it.
Yeah, you bet. All right, let's see. I think
there was one question, Eric, about, I think it's, let me look here. I got to zoom in a little bit on my screen. Yeah, this is, Ashok is asking, do you also provide a list of doctors? When we were talking about the automated cards that go out,
yes.
He wants to know if we can provide a list of doctors. Well, we're going to show you, again, we mentioned earlier how you're going to build your own list. If somebody wants a list of doctors, we do have that available. It's just that those are just cold leads. You know, they're not anything warm. You haven't made any connection with that doctor. So you wouldn't want to just blast out something. You might not get any response at all from them. These are for following up the people you've already made the contact with.
Yeah, and that's important, that you just don't buy a list from the internet and saying, hey, I've got a group of doctors that are maybe in my area that there's been no contact with. You haven't dropped off a card. You haven't done anything like that. Because Patrick, I think we need to make this clear, is that marketing to doctors is not something that you can go, hey, let me just build a list here, or get a list and then push out this information and then waiting for that doctor to call you. There's got to be some connection. If we could just kind of bring this in, imagine the job that you're doing for this doctor. You are taking over how they get paid. Now, they're not going to turn that over to anybody.
Just because you mailed them a postcard, yeah.
So there's got to be some connection, something there that you build in with this. And again, it could be as simple as you building your list, as we said earlier, by going to those offices, dropping a business card, dropping one of those flyers off, and then just start making some of those repeated contacts. And then you start. Patrick, we actually did that. Unless we're in R&D. You and I both do this all the time. We did that. We found some doctors that we dropped cards off, got information, made one more couple of phone calls just to say, did this book get to the doctor? Right. And then we put them on that automatic card system.
Right.
We didn't hear from anybody for 6 weeks, and all of a sudden we got a call from somebody.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question too. Raymond's asking, is an iPad required versus a Surface tablet. Actually, I should have said it's any tablet or iPad. Yeah,
Yes.
because our system is what we call system or platform agnostic, meaning it does not matter. It does not care what kind of operating system you're using, Raymond. So you can use a PC running Windows, Android. You can use any Apple product. Yeah, they all work.
Yep. All right, let's get on with this. We've got 2 more, and then maybe we can finish up answering some of these questions. We've got 15 more minutes left. Preparing pricing and proposals. This is pulling all that information now together.
Right. And folks, don't let this scare you, because we already have all this templated. In other words, they're just Word documents that you go in and plug in your information, your pricing, and their figures. And we'll help you with the pricing too, because remember, we've got 24 years experience knowing we don't want to leave money on the table, so we don't want to underprice, but we also don't want to overprice, because we want you to get the client. One of the things we mention from time to time is that ABS actually makes money on the back end with the claims that are going through our system. It's a few pennies on each claim, folks, but we've got millions of claims going through. So all we want is for you to sign up more doctors, and we're going to help you with this presentation. He's showing you some of the pages that would be included in that proposal. It's put into that nice folder that you saw there earlier. Very, very professionally done, and the doctors really appreciate this. One of the things that's included in there, Eric, is that practice revenue report. I'd like to show them that too.
Yep, here it is.
Yes, now folks, this is one of the things you come back to the doctor with. This has their name at the top, of course, and you've plugged into this thing the numbers, the actual numbers that you got from them from the practice analysis. And once you plug those numbers in, look, the first thing you probably did was glance right down here at the bottom of this to see that the increased revenue per year for this particular doctor is $122,000. That's because their rejection rate was what, 25%? Is that what that says? And
yep.
We got it down, of course, to 2%. So it's a wonderful way to project it. And folks, this does all the selling for you right here.
Yes.
Any doctor who sees this would be crazy not to say, hey, maybe we ought to give this a try. If it's half that, $60,000 a year that it increases their revenue, wouldn't that be worth it? That would be a down payment on a nice automobile, wouldn't it?
You bet. And folks, this is what we're using. Part of that practice analysis. You're getting these numbers from that practice analysis.
Right.
And really, as the demonstrators here at ABS, we have this as well, because we're able to talk with the doctor and say, hey, according to what was discovered in your practice analysis, it looks like apparently your average number of claims is about $300. 300 claims a month, and average claim is about $100. And then you guys talked about that your rejection rate looks like 20-25%, and you just keep getting that yes on that, so you know that we're all working together. And Patrick, when that comes down to that demo, you talk about building credibility from a licensee, knowing that they've got us behind them, and that doctor thinks, well, wow, this person is not just doing it by themselves. They've got a team, and they're using technology to show this information to me. And
you do have a team, folks. There's dozens of people behind the scenes that can help you build your business. So you're not alone. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, as it says.
Yeah. And then finally, the service agreement. This is where the signature comes in, and what a wonderful day when that actually occurs. But we actually have all of this information as well.
Folks, we've spent thousands of dollars with attorneys making sure that all the agreements between you and your sales reps, your doctors, every aspect of your business, we've already worked that out for you. And these are already printed. All you do is just fill in the blanks and then have the doctor sign them. So again, it's your business. You can do anything you want to, but hey, we've put all the money into these already and designed these for you. So we have dozens and dozens of doctor documents on that private website that we showed you earlier when we were showing you how to set up the demos.
Patrick, let's grab a couple of these questions here before we go to the last part of it, and then folks, we'll be wrapping up here in another 10 minutes. And so if there's some questions that are lingering in your head, now is the time to push those out. Patrick, you want to get that one from, let's say, is it Marcy? Maurice, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, we're sorry for mispronouncing your name there. But you know what? She says, can it be integrated with their current software? Now, she's referring, of course, to the slide shows pictures that we showed there of the iClaim system. Yes, folks, if they already have current software, there is a way to get all the demographic information out of that software into ours so that you don't have to re-enter anything. If they're using a different EMR even, we can integrate with that. So there are ways to work with their current software. Believe me, that is not a situation that our licensees ever run into. That's something that they can't overcome because, again, we've already figured out how to do that.
Yeah. And then, Sid, you're asking the question here about can we use AdWords? Have AdWords been working out for any of the licensees? I was just looking up. There is a licensee. That's how she's built her entire business, is using AdWords. Her name's Wendy Bruno. She is a reference, so obviously you might be able to want to talk with her and how she's grown that business. There's been some other licensees that have done that. So as you can see here, as Patrick, you've said, it's the many harpoons that are going into the well. It's just it's more than just one technique that's going to help you get in front of maybe one, two, or a group of doctors.
Yeah, remember, folks, we've tested all this out, and sometimes we get rid of marketing ideas when they're not working as well. We replace them with new ones that we come up with. So we're constantly giving you guys new ideas as to how to build your business. Believe me, getting the doctor is the biggest fear everybody has. Guess what? Any other franchise that you build, our business, you're going to still have to find clients. And we know how to do that in this business because we've been doing it for 24 years. There are some methods that we have spent a lot of money on that you should not ever use. And in fact, there's other companies that are similar to what we do, and they tell people to do all kinds of stuff that we can tell you that you're gonna lose a lot of money and time, waste a lot of time on trying those methods.
Yeah, you bet. All right, so the final thing is, and remember, everything we've set up here at this point can always work on getting that appointment, and even this implementation of the software into the practice, because that may be one of those key elements that you engage with a CPA that has known of doctors had trouble, switching from another billing service to their new billing service, and you need to know that it's very easy to implement your services into the doctor's office, and it all is part of what we do right here. This is where our team will actually get online with the practice and teach them, take them through tutorials. There are, and it's not just where they have to sit there and watch a whole bunch of webinars. There's literally people that are involved in making sure that this is actually happening at that doctor's office.
Yeah. So, folks, what it boils down to is you sign up the client with our help, of course, doing the live demo. But once you've got the client signed, now it comes back to us and our staff. Look, we have a whole website set up to implement this and train the doctor and their staff. Every aspect of their business is covered step by step. We hold their hands until they're up and running on the system. Now, remember, we're talking primarily about the electronic medical record system because that's what they'll be using in the office when they interface and see patients. The billing side of it, of course, is your side, and we also have training for you so that you can learn how to use every aspect of that. We actually have laptops in the training classroom when you come to the classroom. And so the very first day, we have you on the computer doing medical billing, live, using our system across the cloud with the internet connection there in the hotel. Folks, people are blown away how easy it is. In fact, Eric, we have them do several claims, and then we say, okay, if you'd like to do some more, you're welcome to. And hardly anybody ever takes the time to do that because they go, I got it. It's that simple.
Right.
Now, there's more aspects of using the system, of course, that you can learn online. We do have recorded webinars and training videos that will teach you every aspect, anything that you want to know. Okay, Eric, we're moving on here, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're really here. We're at the last of it. We've gone through all 5 of these. We do have a handout that is over in your handout. So if you want to pull that handout right now, now's a great time to do that. If you've got any last-minute questions, now's a good time to do that. But, folks, everything that you see here, all 5 of these steps, takes 3 days of 8 hours on going through these. So obviously, in each one of these scenarios that we've talked about, the 5 marketing secrets for doctors, Patrick, I mean, it's in depth, starting really not at just 3 days, but the 5 days of training. Right. It really begins with day 1, with because even though we've got the hands-on of actually how to input claims into the system, I think I love what you say about if you were to give a client to somebody. You want to finish that out?
Oh yeah. Here's what it boils down to, folks, is this. Even though getting a client, of course, seems to be the hardest part of the business, I tell people, if I had a client right now, let's say I had a signed contract here ready to give to you, and you don't know a thing about, you know, how to do medical billing, would you learn how to do it as fast as you could? Yeah, right? You'd take that client, right? Because that is the hardest part. Once people have gone through our training, about midway through the week, when you say, Eric, maybe Wednesday, they'll go, oh, I get it. I mean, the pieces start coming together by then, and they realize it's not going to be as hard as they had imagined in their brain. But that's why we give a money-back guarantee at the end of the week, too.
Yeah, and that's where we're going. And folks, again, as Patrick has stated time and time again on any of our webinars, that, folks, if you get to this training and you just had that, we kind of just go that butterfly feeling that, you know, this is just not right for you.
Right.
Talk with any of us. We'll work with you and get your money back if this is what you want to do.
Yeah, and folks, that's only happened a handful of times, literally, in the 24 years we've been in business. So the reason we do that is because we know that this is a more involved business. If you've not got any background, which most people don't, right, Eric? When they come to the training, most people don't have any background in the medical field or billing, especially, because we ask them during the class. If you just are not sure about it, we say, look, then as part of your due diligence, you do have to get the funds together and let us know that you actually have the money to invest. But once you come to this training, if for any reason at the end of that class you do not feel like this is the right business for you, then you just ask for your money back and we'll part as friends. That doesn't happen very often, but if it did, we would still say, you know, go do whatever you need to do. Go find another business. You know, go open that, you know, Subway sandwich shop, and of course it'll cost you 5 times what ours does, but you'll at least be able to work with teenagers 80 hours a week who can't even clean their own rooms.
There you go. Hey folks, as we kind of wrap up here, we would love some feedback. We hardly ever, I mean, there are folks that, I mean, Michael gave some feedback just a moment ago when we were showing about the trade show. He says, that's the one that's going to work for me.
Yeah.
Folks, if you would, in this area over here where it says the questions, let Patrick and I know, did we help answer this question for you about the marketing? And obviously, again, we can't teach you everything today, but has this been a help for you? If not, we would want to get this feedback so we'll know what to plan on for other upcoming training webinars for you, because we get this information from folks that we talk with anyway all the time. So we really want to make sure that our webinars are here for you. Jose's got a question, Patrick. Talking about the software, he's asking, is this software? Is this software? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, he's kind of divided that into 3 little parts there. But Jose, basically, he's asking if the software handles just the claims, or does it handle all the patient-related information as well? Yes, Jose, this is a what they call a practice management system.
Yes.
It runs the entire practice. You have all the information that the patient, you know, what they owe. Everything is built into this system. You'll see when you see the demo. Just ask the person who sent you the email to come to this webinar to give you a live demo of our system. We'd be glad to do that one-on-one with you.